Yes guys, what is going on and welcome to another video here on my channel. Like I said, 2022 we are back with the consistency. We're going to be making sure we're posting regularly for you guys so the channel can grow as much as possible. Now before we go any further in this video, I want you guys to do a few things for me. Firstly, I want to make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you're not subscribed already, I don't know what you're doing. Why are you wasting your time? Make sure you subscribe because you need to make sure you're keeping in the loop with all the videos that I am posting. So subscribe and turn your notifications on. And also I want you to head over to my Instagram and I want you to follow me on Instagram. I want you to also follow me on TikTok because you don't want to miss any of the action that you can't see on YouTube that is over there. So please go and do all those things for me. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as you can see from the title of this video, today we are going to be discussing why you may not be achieving results. I can't tell you how many times I get asked in DMs or with clients or whatever, I'm doing this and this, I'm training this hard, I'm eating like this, but I'm just not getting results. So today I wanted to go for a few reasons as to why I think maybe your progress isn't going exactly the way you think it should be and what you can change in order to get the results that you want. So now the first thing I want to address, and this is something that I've observed over years of going to the gym, you know, you see a lot of people that go to the gym and they're keeping fit and healthy, which is good, but a lot of these people also want to achieve body changes. And now when you see them at the gym, a lot of the time they're doing the same routine, they don't have a structure to their workout, they're not progressively overloading, so they're not trying to lift heavier each week, they kind of just go in, lift the same weights, they don't know what they did the week before, so they're just doing what they think feels alright the week after, but they don't know whether that's heavier. More than likely it's just the same as what they were doing the week before. It's just a monotonous routine which they're doing week in, week out, and there's no progression. And now if you don't have a program in place, that is going to be the first place you're going wrong. So if you're coming to me saying, I'm training really hard in the gym, like I work out every day, but you don't have a program that you're following, so you aren't doing the same type of workouts week in, week out, and you don't know what you lifted the week before and whether that's better or worse when you lift it again the week after. If you're not doing that, that's your first mistake. You have to be able to visualize your progress. So writing it down is going to help you know whether you're actually progressing or not. So now if you come away from this thinking, do you know what, I've been going to the gym for a while now, I feel like I'm working hard, but I don't feel like every week I'm pushing, and if I look at maybe my bench press, I'm actually not lifting that much heavier than I was when I started a year ago. If that's you, then you need to be thinking, okay, well, as of next week, and this is just an example, you're going to do 4 sets of 10, hypothetically, and let's say you reach a top set or 50 kg for 10 reps, okay? And the first 3 sets were comfortable, the 4th set was a top set for 50 kg. You know that the week after, on that top set, you potentially want to be hitting 52.5 kg for 10 reps. Because if you're hitting 10 reps on the next size, chances are you've got a little bit more in the tank, so you can push that little bit. The increments don't have to be high, you don't have to be jumping 1,000,000 kilos at a time. A little increment each week can lead to over a year a massive change, and then you'll see from, you know, the first day of the year to the last day of the year that you actually have made progress. You've made small progress over each week, and then that eventually will lead up to a massive change. And don't get me wrong, you're not going to make progress every week, but the more you monitor it and the more you keep your eye on it, the more chance you've got of making the progress that you want. So summing up that point, if you always go to the gym and do the same thing all the time and you look the same and you don't really feel like you're coming outside of your comfort zone, then if your goal is to change your body and you aren't happy with the fact that you're not making progress, but when you put in a lot of work or you haven't challenged yourself to go to that next level, you need to understand that if you're doing the same things all the time and it's easy for you, nothing is going to change. You have to be willing to come outside that comfort zone and put yourself through pain, through some discomfort in the gym, work hard, then the progress will come, and that's how you're going to change from what you currently are to what you want to be. If it was as easy as maintaining the same work ethic when you're not in the shape that you want to be, and then keeping that work ethic to achieve the physique you want to be, everyone would do it. And that's why some people can't. And that's why I say I see a lot of people in the gym going through the same routine, and then they say to me like, oh, you know, I haven't made any progress, where could I be going wrong? It's because you're not pushing yourself hard enough, you're not tracking what you're doing, and you're not willing to push yourself to that next step and realize that that is actually what it takes to get to that level. So anyone you see that's got an outstanding physique, okay, albeit some people may say, oh, but they're on like performance enhancing drugs and whatever. Let's put that all to one side. Let's just look at people who aren't doing that. Most people with good physiques, they're working really hard, and that's why they look the way they do. You can't expect these things to fall onto your lap. And I think leading on from this, it's critical that you set goals, so you clearly know what it is you're trying to achieve. So I would say, you know, setting a body goal is something that's not unrealistic, but you can't know exactly what you're going to look like. So you can't say by this time next year I want to look like Mike Thurston or whatever. You know, that's something, not because Mike Thurston's obviously in great shape, I just mean that you can't pinpoint an image to what you want to look like. But what would be realistic is saying something like, okay, so by this time next year I want to add 10 kilos onto my bench press. By this time next year I want to add 5 kilos onto my dumbbell overhead press, and things like that. They're realistic goals. So you can have an overall image of what you want to achieve and what you want to work towards, but having that in black and white, you know, the statistics of what it is you ultimately want to achieve, that's what's going to make the progress. Because if you're getting stronger and you're lifting more, that means you're stimulating muscle growth and you are going to be getting closer to a physique that you actually want to achieve. Another thing I want to talk about is sometimes people that have a goal of putting on muscle mass, or, you know, and even if we're talking about men or women, you know, some women want to build their glutes, that's still building muscle mass. And sometimes I notice that a lot of people do way too much cardio. Now you need to understand that weight training is imperative for the growth of muscle mass. Cardio is good for burning calories and when you're trying to cut fat, but if you're doing too much cardio and not enough weightlifting, you're not going to build muscle mass. And even if you are doing weight training but you're also doing a lot of cardio, sometimes you can hinder the growth of muscle mass. So if we target more women with what we're saying here, don't be afraid to get in the weight section and lift weights. If you want your glutes to grow, or you want to get more defined legs, or you want your arms to tone up, you're not going to get bulky, you're not going to get massive. Go and lift those weights and you'll get the progress that you want. Don't just do hours of HIIT, go on a treadmill for an hour. Yeah, you may lose a lot of weight, but you're not going to build muscle mass doing that. You're not stimulating any muscle growth. You're just bettering your cardiovascular system and also burning a lot of fat. So if anything, you're going to be slim, but it's unlikely that you're going to have a lot of muscle definition. Now, looking into nutrition, if you feel like you're not getting the results you want, you have to ask yourself, do you really know what it is your diet should look like in order to suit your goals? So if you're trying to build muscle mass, do you completely understand what your diet should entail in terms of your calories, your macros, in order for you to grow? I recently posted a YouTube video of how to build muscle. So if your goal is to build muscle, I'm going to add an in-video link for you guys to go and check that video out so you can understand everything that you need to do in order to build muscle mass. And that will take you through the calorie breakdown, the macro breakdown, and I've also got a video on my page of how to lose fat and how to get out, so I'll put that link in here as well, and you guys can go and check that video out as well. But all in all, if you don't have a structure to your nutrition along with your training, and you have no idea whether what you're doing with your diet actually is benefiting your training, then chances are you're not going to be getting the results you want. And now looking into people that, you know, their ideal goal is to like lose weight, I see it a lot of the time where they just eat far too little, and, you know, cutting out food isn't the answer. You know, not eating anything isn't going to make you lose drastic amounts of weight like what you want to do. It's going to do more damage than it is good, and that is a fact. If you deprive yourself of food too much, the body goes into starvation mode. So our bodies are extremely clever. If our body goes into starvation mode, when it does get food, or when there's a day you decide to eat more, it's going to hold on to that food, and it's going to be harder for it to break down, and ultimately you're not going to lose as much weight as you think, because the body's going to be holding on to the food that it hasn't been getting. So if you do want to lose weight, a slight calorie deficit, so eating less than what you're burning by 100 calories to start, maybe 200 calories, and so on and so forth, in a disciplined and controlled manner, that's fine. But don't just say, okay, I need to lose 10 kilos, now I'm not going to eat anything, and then you just have, you know, a bowl of cereal in the morning and then a salad at night before you go to bed and a glass of water all day. It's not going to make you achieve the results you want. And tying on from this, if you do that, you're going to have no energy for your training sessions, so you're not going to be fueling your training sessions correctly. And that leads me on to one of my last points. When we talk about nutrition, you have to think about how are you fueling your sessions. So if you're let's imagine everything I've said so far, you're like, yeah, I'm doing that right, like I'm you know, trying to focus on progressive overload, I've got a program in place, like I do get stronger, but it's not like as much as I think, and sometimes I'm lifting heavy and then the next session I'll be lifting a lot lighter. You have to ask, are you fueling your sessions correctly? Are you doing everything right around your training session? So are you eating the right foods up until your training? You know, these are things that you have to be asking yourself, because if you're depriving yourself of food going into a training session, you're not going to have energy. You're not going to produce, your body isn't going to produce energy for that training session. And tying in from this, are you sleeping well? Are you hydrated? You know, if you're not sleeping well, again, you're not going to have the energy for a training session. So if you have a bad night's sleep and then, you know, that week you lifted less than you did the week before, you have to think, okay, well, I haven't been sleeping correctly. That's another thing. Or when I talk about hydration, if you're not drinking enough water, your body needs water ultimately to keep it functioning at its highest level. If you're depriving yourself of water and dehydrating yourself and lack of sleep and not eating correctly around your training sessions, you're going to massively suffer when it comes to trying to work as hard as you can in the gym and ultimately achieving the results you want. And make sure you tie everything into what I'm saying here, tying it into getting your results. I'm not trying to go off on a tangent to confuse you guys, but I'm saying that if you have a result and then the way to get that result is by training and eating correctly, you have to think of every little detail going into what are you doing up to your sessions, what is everything around your training and eating looking like. And if there's one thing that's falling short and you are that person that's thinking, I'm not getting results, and I've said something here that's clicked in your mind, there you go, that's your answer. Start working on that. And to finish off, I have to ask you, do you actually realize what it takes to change your body? You know, I mentioned it earlier in the video, it is not an easy thing, okay? Just because you started going to the gym and you started lifting weights, or you've started doing some more exercise than what you're used to doing, doesn't mean results are gonna come like that. You have to be so patient, dedicate yourself to the craft and make it a lifestyle. And I know what I'm saying, everything sounds like, oh my God, there's so much to think about, but if you really wanna make the change and it's not happening for you, you have to think of these things, otherwise it just won't happen. It's not easy to get the physique or the dream body that you want. These things don't just happen. You know, there are some people, yes, very, very small percentages of the world that are naturally blessed, and you do see it. However, most of the people that you see that look phenomenal and they've got the dream body that you want, they are grafting. They're grafting when they train, and they are grafting in and around their training sessions. They're making sure they're eating right, sleeping well, hydrating themselves. They are bang on it. So point being, don't expect results to happen straight away. Be patient with the process, focus on your goals, get a program in place, and I guarantee that if you chip away at it and you get all these things right, and sometimes even after this video, you'll still make mistakes. I still make mistakes, and I'm here trying to give you guys advice. Just keep plugging away at it, and I promise you, you will achieve the goals you want. Just stay dedicated. So guys, I hope that this has inspired you. I hope this has made you understand what it takes to get the body of your dreams, and now you can go away and actually apply yourself in your training sessions, in and around your training sessions, and get the body that you desire. If you enjoyed this video, again, please subscribe to my channel, smash that like button. I really need the likes, guys. It helps with the algorithm. Comment down below what video you want to see next, and if you enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next video.